We're very focused, we're very driven, and we balance off each other. I feel like this is the universe speaking to us because we have been talking about puppies for the last like year and a half or two. We mentioned them on the show as well.
Yeah.
We were on live stream yesterday with Tori, and everyone's like, "You guys should get a dog." And like,
yeah,
this is so weird. So maybe honestly, we want one. It's a lot of responsibility. And I feel like there's a lot of things that we want to accomplish and stuff like that before tying ourselves down. Like, especially if we see a lot of traveling in the future, it gets tough with having a dog. So I think when the time is right, we're definitely going to get a puppy, maybe a corgi, maybe a husky.
Maybe a little mix of both.
little mix of both. But definitely something we would consider and want to do in the future.
And I think other than that, like, we're very go with the flow. Like, I don't feel very uptight, like, so what are we next? You know, like, what is the plan? Where are we going with this? Like, kind of vibe. And Josh has never been like that either. So we're just like, we're happy, you know,
Absolutely.
like, we're riding the wave, and like, this has been great. We just recently moved in together, so we're not in like a rush for literally anything.
Yeah, there's no reason to rush. And there's also so much that we want to accomplish, you know? And I think that like we want to accomplish that as much separately, but together. And then when the time comes, like we're prepared for whatever comes next, you know? I think that's super important. We're very focused, we're very driven, and we balance off each other. We definitely like, we want to have multiple businesses. We want to be incredibly successful. We want to grow our followings and stuff like that, reach a bigger audience, impact as many people, and then whatever else comes.
And then there's that whole element of like having a family, you know, like wanting that family life, and just like the love that comes with like a really close-knit family is definitely really important for the both of us.
And changing, what's the word, baby?
Changing, like, not letting history repeat itself.
Yes.
You know, like,
we want to do it differently.
Do it right. Do it differently.
Both parents be in the picture, you know, family nice and tight, you know, like everyone is close together no matter what kind of thing, and making sure that financially you're also prepared. I feel like that's very huge. So we're trying to make sure we cover all those tracks. So when the time does come, we're ready. We're as ready as we can be.
Yeah, and then we also know that you can never be prepared for the, what is it? Like the journey that is like a parenthood. So we're not going to wait until like everything is perfect, because then, you know, that'll never happen. But interestingly enough, we filmed the show a year ago. So when the show took place, we were both living on the East Coast together. Josh was living in New York and I was living in New Jersey, and we were an hour and a half apart. Then fast forward a year, we both moved to California together. So we're currently here together. We never like did the long distance that would be crazy.
Yeah.
That would be actually crazy. But honestly, the hour and a half, it was interesting because we could only see each other on the weekends, of course, but I don't think that put us at a disadvantage for the show, because we still got to know each other as any couple would. And we still knew our ins and outs, had our inside jokes. You know, we'd been dating for a year and a half at that point. We didn't feel like any less of a couple. And also we had to quarantine
for 2 weeks, for 2 weeks prior to anything happening. So that was also like new to us, because that was the longest time we spent together in the same household for 2 weeks consecutively. So that was very interesting. Obviously we learned a lot about one another in those 2 weeks. And then
and then the whole experience was a month total. So we had been together nonstop for a month, like through all of our layovers and like the exhaustion of being on the show and everything. So it was interesting. I mean, we're still here. Everything went well. So
if anything, it made us closer, honestly. Like the whole like experience and whatnot, and even getting eliminated, like we were like to ourselves, like people thought we were best friends. People thought they're like really close friends, and to us, like that feels so special. You know what I mean?
That's
like
a compliment.
That's a compliment. It's like if people think we're best friends, like I feel like that's the purpose of a relationship. It's your best friend that you're spending your rest of your life together, building this cool thing called life. You know? So.
Well, I guess the most exciting thing is that we moved to California together and we moved in together.
Yes.
So that's been really, really cool. I think it's been like 4 months now.
Yep.
Maybe coming
Going
up
on 4 months, yeah.
And we're celebrating our 3-year anniversary in just a couple months. So that's really cool as well. And I think that's pretty much it. We've just gotten so much closer. Obviously, when you live together, you know,
learn
it's a
so
whole
much
other ballgame.
about one another. But it's been great. Like we don't argue. We don't really annoy each other, and
we do annoy each other
sometimes. But we're really good about giving each other space, you know. So like if someone wants the apartment to themselves or wants to go out and do their own thing and stuff, we can do that. And
yeah, I think that's something that, going back to the long distance and it being a disadvantage, it wasn't a disadvantage. It's actually such a positive for us because we know how to be alone. We know how to work on ourselves, like fill up our own cups so that we can come fill each other's cup, you know. Like I'm never relying on him to come make me happy if I'm like feeling down and stuff, and vice versa. Yeah, so that was helpful. With the long distance, like helped us learn that, you know, when we couldn't be there for each other, like when things got hard and stuff, you know, it's like I have to learn how to get through this on my own. So that's been really cool to then bring it together and be in the same space and still have those tools to be able to do that.
People feel like it's so weird because we'll give each other space. Like I remember when we were doing long distance, there would be some times where we wouldn't text for like 24, 48 hours because we were busy, things were happening and stuff like that. And we never thought anything of it. We knew we need space. Like you need to fill up your own cup before you can fill someone else. And we've been huge on that, like you mentioned earlier. Since the start of the relationship. So
yeah, people find it weird, and we're like, what do you do? Like you're just up each other's asses 24/7. Like, how are you good? Think about this one.
Ooh, I know it.
Oh yeah? Okay, go ahead.
She's messy. And like I kind of had a feeling she was messy, but not this messy.
I'm not this messy. Okay, so here's the thing. I make a mess while I'm getting ready, right? Like my makeup's all over the counter, my hair, stuff's everywhere. But as soon as I'm done, do I not clean it all up?
Sometimes.
Not sometimes, every time. Like, if I'm getting ready and then like I'm gonna try on a top, and like if it's not the one, I just like chuck it and I find the next one. And then once I'm done, I'll go like put everything away. Or if I'm feeling lazy, I'll put it all in a pile. And I'll put the pile on the table. But I'd say that's neater. Just leaving it.
Honestly though, it's my mom. My mom did it to me because when I was growing up, I would leave things out on the table and she'd be like, Josh, like you need to clean this up. Like I like things a certain way. So I'm the same way now, and I'm starting to realize that like I need to see things a certain way, otherwise it bothers me and it gives me like anxiety almost. So I'm trying to reel it back and kind of practice on that. So definitely that's been a learning curve.
Yeah, for sure.